Helping others makes changes to your brain that will help decrease chances of depression and help with mental illness. So this notion of altruism, that is basically sacrificing oneself to help others, has long been known that it helps with psychological conflicts and tension. Helping someone else may help that person to forget about their own problems, have a more deeper, more meaningful outlook on life, have more appreciation for what they have in life. Focusing on others also can help one persevere during difficult times. This was actually studied in nursing staff who were dealing with difficult patients, and they found that the nurses that had a concern for their patients were more likely to persevere during the difficult times with the patient, especially in cases when the patient were not able to care for themselves. Interestingly, helping others may not always be acceptable according to society standards. There was a study that was done in Japan that showed that people who drifted away from societal norms, even if they were doing good deeds, it was viewed as negatively. And so there's resistance to doing good deeds if it's away from what the typical society practices. But don't let this stop you. Just because your environment doesn't allow you to be like a Mother Teresa, it's important to do good deeds. In fact, the studies show that people when they age are typically more motivated and more driven to do good deeds or altruistic behaviors for others. The problem is that when people age, they're physically more limited, and psychologically and cognitively they just don't have as much energy or capacities to help others as like a young person can. That's why it's especially important when people are young to get in that habit and that mindset and have that attitude to help others. It'll help sort of rewire or retrain how they're thinking, and that will in turn will really help not only in their lives, but other people's lives as well. In fact, these changes of the brain were studied through MRI scans that were done, and the MRI scans of the brain showed that in the frontal cortex, which is the region that helps with planning, organization, regulating emotions, that frontal cortex actually thickened. Not only did it get bigger and thicker, meaning like more powerful, it also found in those people, it helped prevent depression happening. And so not only did these people have thicker brains, prevent from depression happening, but they also showed a more love for others and more altruistic behaviors. So it's especially important in young people and adolescents because their brains are particularly vulnerable. Their frontal cortex is really maturing, some experts say, up until people reach to like the age of 25. So that could be a really crucial time to formulate those neural networks so that one gets into that altruistic behaviors, and it'll help them manage their psychological conflict and tensions that they have in their life. So I was also wanting to look at caregiver burnout because this is a true phenomenon in people who are caring for like demented patients. They can get really tired, fatigued. And what I found is that people who have compassion for themselves and people that have a genuine concern for others, they actually were less likely to be burnt out. God wants us to live healthy, happy, fruitful lives. And Christ was preaching this message in the gospel about loving others and helping others about 2,000 years ago. Someone approached Christ asking him what were the greatest commandments, and Christ told him the first and greatest commandment is love the God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. And the second commandment is like that, is that you should love your neighbor as yourself. And so again, these altruistic behaviors or patterns, this altruistic mindset really can have an influential, healthy, powerful impact on one's life. We saw that maybe not all societies will accept people helping others, just like not all societies or all people accept Christ's message. Yet it seems, and it's supported by science, that those things add up and can be true. I just want to make a note that there's some differences between worshiping God alone in a spiritual way and going to like a public worship where there's Bible studies or coming together for praise or attending church. They do find, for the most part, that people who are in the religious activities are more likely to do good deeds for others than people that are just worshiping God alone. And some people may find excuses to not attend church or not go to the religious activities, like they don't like the people or the environment, or maybe it's just a misunderstanding of the faith. It can be important to keep in mind that the church is often like a hospital where people are spiritually sick and they go there to get spiritual healing. Maybe that's a principle to keep in mind. But otherwise, as a church can be a great community to where you can help others practice those altruistic behaviors, and it'll help people to live more meaningful, fruitful lives. That is also supported by many mental health phenomenon. People who are addicted, especially young people that are addicted to drugs or alcohol, they're more likely to get sober when they partake in religious worship. Also in Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, those 12-step meetings, a lot of those are spiritually based. So it just shows how important kind of this altruistic mindset has, and it can really help people deal with the conflict and tensions in their life. Please, if you like this video, like the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Maybe we can have more videos like this coming.